Greetings everyone, Jonathan Bailey here from plagiarismtoday.com. Today I wanted to talk about the 3-count column on Plagiarism Today. It's for those that don't read Plagiarism Today regularly, or maybe I just don't pay any attention to what I'm doing with it. It is basically a daily copyright news aggregation column. I take 3 stories that I found interesting when I woke up in the morning, write a very, very short synopsis of them, and provide a big fat link and encourage people to go visit that site and read that article and get up to date on copyright news. The idea is I don't want Plagiarism Today to be kind of a copyright news site. I want it to be primarily focused on this niche of helping content creators, but I know that copyright news is still an important part of it, so this is a way to talk about it and include it and keep you guys up to date on things. That in the podcast, of course, but do that without spending too much time on it, and also hopefully derive some traffic, some really great sources doing some original reporting. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. While I was at South by Southwest last week, I actually attended a panel entitled "Is Aggregation Theft?" It was put on, and I actually had to write the names down here to make sure I got it right, so bear with me. It was Bill Falk from The Week, Felix Salomon from Reuters, Julia Turner from Slate, and Simon Domingo from Ad Age. And I believe other than Felix, everyone in the group was either a deputy editor or an editor-in-chief. So a lot of higher-ups at some very, very big publications and some very important institutions in online journalism. However, what was interesting about it was almost an entirely pro-aggregation panel. There was, even though they're starting with the question, is aggregation theft? The answer is immediately no. All these guys are very pro-aggregation. Well, that admittedly didn't make it for a very discussion and debate-heavy panel. There was a lot of great information given out, and I got to speak to some with Simon Domingo afterward, and some of the other panelists, and I had a really great conversation with these guys about aggregation in general. And the message from the panel, if I can summarize an hour-long panel in like 30 seconds, was that aggregation is not, theft. It's not misuse of content by itself. It's all in how you do it. It's how you approach it. Do you attempt to make it symbiotic? Do you attempt, to be a parasite that's just taking the work of others and repurposing it for your own? There's a big difference between taking a 500-word article and writing a 450-word synopsis and then throwing it out there without attribution, than there is taking a 500-word article, writing a short blurb and synopsis, and linking prominently to the original source and encouraging people to go there. And it was very relevant to my 3-count column, because with that column, I attempt very strongly to not just do what's good enough, but to do what's best and to be an example. And during for the backtrack a second, and you can see that in a lot of what I've been doing with the column. All the synopses are usually well under 100 words. I try to pull from articles that are 500 words or longer. That doesn't always work out. It's not perfect, but it's an attempt I do make. I do favor the larger articles. The headlines are the exact quote from the headline in the article with a full link and a big header link to the original source. The idea being SEO purposes. They want to make sure Google knows where the source is and doesn't give me credit accidentally for something I didn't do. So big, exact headline title linked over to the original source. I did everything at the time that I thought a good aggregator can and should do. But at this conversation, they talked about something that kind of stuck with me, and that is that authors really like seeing their name in print. They like getting that personal attribution. I understand that. And of course the publications do too. And I realized I hadn't been doing that with the 3-count. I got caught up in the idea, and people who are on the web understand this, that linking is attribution. Sometimes linking is attribution. It's certainly the most important form of attribution, I believe, still. But that linking is, the key to attribution. But of course, like I said, the 3-count isn't about doing what's good enough. It isn't about doing what's adequate or even great. It's about doing everything I can. And so I thought about it a little bit and decided, hey, reformat the 3-count column with every item, include the name of the person who wrote it, and include the title of publication, if you can. I mean, sometimes the posts don't have the name of the person, you can't avoid that, but usually they do, and you can pretty much always get the publication. So the idea is to include those two pieces of information with every synopsis I put out. Once again, it's not something I feel that's legally required in these cases, but it's something that I feel is the right thing to do, and I feel is just another way that I can do everything possible to ensure that this aggregation is symbiotic and is giving as much credit, as much attribution, and as much of the traffic as possible to the source. That's the idea. So it's a very minor change to the recount column. Every synopsis has maybe a 5-word difference now, but the point is, just want to keep doing everything I can and want to keep myself in check. And it's like I told Simon afterward, thank you very much for mentioning that and talking about that. That's just proof that even the good guys sometimes need to figure out ways they can do more. And that's what I think I did. So something to think about if you're doing your own aggregation. On that note, that's all I've got today. I will see you guys tomorrow.